I think I am going to break up with my boyfriend. A couple of days ago I made a post about me feeling awful about prohibiting my boyfriend to be friends with a girl named Rachel. Many people suggested I needed to talk to him about it, or that Rachel was trying to steal him away from me, because they are still very much in contact. So I talked to him, and he told me that at first when we got together last year he was still a little hung up on Rachel, because he always thought that she was the one, and then he said that he does speak with her regularly on the phone, because he misses her, but he says that she isn't the one reaching out to him, is the other way around. So I am just so mad at him, like he gets to be with me and also talk every day with the girl he thought was the one. That is bullshit. I am a mess right now, and I feel like I do have to break up with him, but at the same time I don't want to do it. But then I remember the cherry on top of the cake. The first one is that he never told Rachel he was dating me, she thinks we are just friends. And the second one is that he admitted that a month before we started dating he and Rachel constantly had sex in his car and basically everywhere. A fucking month! Exclamation mark. I am so mad. I started packing in boxes all the stuff he gave me, all of it, and tomorrow I am going to his house to end things. I hope I am doing the right thing. Edit, I updated guys, here is the link for anyone who is interested. Edit, my other post has been removed again. They have too many rules here. Sounds like you are. He sounds shitty. Best of luck. Babe, you know it's over. You're looking for a few internet strangers to back you up. I'm happy to be in that gang. Let's talk about good things. It's a holiday season in most places. Do you have nieces or nephews you're making gifts for? Or holiday cookies? I'm not religious, but I love making those cookies where you do the fancy thing with a toothpick on the icing and it looks all professional. There's a world of stuff outside this dude, probably including a better dude. I am happy to have you here! Exclamation mark. I actually have a little sister. She is 7 years old and very excited about the holidays, even if they are going to be a little bit different. We love baking cookies and I think this year she is old enough to put some ice on them. I really like those fancy cookies too. I am a little bit religious, but not too much. We do pray a lot this time of the year to be grateful to God about the things he gave us this year. And I know some better dude will come along, hopefully the one as he says. You're doing the right thing. He was keeping you as a shoulder to lean on, benefits while he figured out how to get back to Rachel. You're worth more than a man like that. Thank you so much for saying this. All your kind words are giving me the strength I need right now. You are. You definitely deserve to be the one for someone else. You can go back to Rachel. You're better off. You never want to be someone's second choice, especially if the one is still anywhere in the picture. Thanks for this. This is what I needed to hear. 2 hearts. My 23F cousin, 23F, will not stop making her way into every single friend group of mine, even after I specifically asked her to. Reason below. In short, I feel like this is an invasion of my space and I would like advice on what to do when an explicitly stated boundary is crossed. Title probably makes this sound kiddish, but it has become a legitimate problem in my life and I could really use some help. My cousin and I have a pretty complicated history, but I'll do my best to mention only things that are important/relevant. Too long didn't read, at the end. So we have led practically the same lives since we were born because we are the same age, grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same kindergarten, same school, same classes for extracurricular activities. So we've always had overlapping social circles. We have also always had a lot of full-blown fights growing up. Fast forward to the end of high school. A lot had happened and our relationship had gotten completely sour. I felt like I was done with her. Fortunately, we went off to different colleges. Over the next few months, we made amends and decided to put the past behind us, because we do have love for each other. But I strongly believe that us having separate lives improved our relationship drastically. We didn't see enough of each other to tick each other off. and every time we met was a good time. It was the healthiest our relationship has ever been, honestly. I liked this, and this is how I am with all my friends as well. I have different friend groups that I do different things with, and I can't spend all my time with the same people. I'm totally fine with all my friends knowing each other. I make them all meet on my birthday. I just don't like everyone doing everything together all the time. It's how I compartmentalize my life. Let me tell you, I'm not an extrovert. I tend to get quite anxious socially, so I have to put in an extra effort to make friends. And it wasn't easy making those spaces for myself. Anyway, I introduced my cousin to my closest friend group at that point in time, and she eventually started tagging along every time we did something. It didn't bother me because I still had other spaces that she wasn't in, but then she started getting really involved in another group. I started feeling a little uncomfortable at this point, but I couldn't reason with it, and I didn't want to be a vibe kill because clearly it was bothering only me, so I didn't say anything. I just started limiting my interaction with them, because it didn't feel the same to me anymore, and she had started fighting with me again. I still had one other space where I felt comfortable and free from her, so I started spending more time there. But, you guessed it, she found her way there as well. She would literally get herself invited, not by me, to everything I did with my friends, and it was driving me nuts, because the more time we spent together, the more fights we'd have, and the less time I'd want to spend with her. I felt like she was consuming too much of me. All of that / happened in the span of 4 years. Our relationship had gotten sour again, but unlike high school me, I was more self-aware and had gotten familiar with the concept of cutting off people who drain my energy. But it's quite complicated when the person you want to cut off has this many mutual friends with you, and is family, right? So I decided to be more vocal about my boundaries. I told her very clearly that if we want to hope for any improvement in our relationship, we need to have different circles. I told her how much it bothered me that she was everywhere, and I urged her to make her own friends. She hadn't made the effort to build any friendships from her college, maybe a couple, that's all. But she could have. Some of them were really nice too. And she doesn't struggle as much as I do to make friends. I honestly don't know why she was riding on mine the whole time. But the conversation ended well. It's been a year, and I finally made another set of friends. She didn't. She has been talking to some of these new friends again, and I've been trying not to say anything, but she has still been finding ways to come for things I do with them. And now I don't know what more to do. I stated my boundary. I don't want to be regulating who talks to who, so I expect her to be aware and maintain whatever little distance is left from my life. I'm feeling hurt and disrespected. I can't stand to share any more social spaces with her. How do I move forward from this? Too long didn't read. Cousin and I did everything together our whole lives till the end of high school, and also fought the whole way till there. Relationship super bad. Went to different colleges. The distance from each other's lives aided in improving our relationship. Relationship good, healthy. But then she started hanging out with all my college friend groups one by one, not working on any of her own friendships. Our fights started again and we back to relationship super bad. She had started consuming too much of me, and one day when I had had enough, I told her to start working on her own social circles instead of mine. I explained to her clearly that I need to have my own life and some distance would do us good. It's been a year, but she still gets herself invited to things I do with my friends, newer ones, and it's really frustrating me, and I want to know the best way to deal with this. Her behavior is pathological. I don't think you should be trying to improve your relationship with her, but cutting ties wherever possible. You need to talk to your other friends, and explain as clearly as you can that she is invading your life and making you uncomfortable. She is doing it on purpose. She really is, and you need to accept that. She is not someone you should trust. If they are good friends to you, they will cut ties with her, too. How is she finding all these people? Are you introducing her? Why are you broadcasting your life on social media? Stop doing those things. I would be completely amazed if any of my relatives managed to find my friends. I'm confused as to how she is finding her way into your circles without you. But yeah, I think the only option is to talk to your friends. They may be thinking it's okay because she's family, when in reality you do not want contact with her. I don't think telling her to respect your boundaries will help. You need to tell your circle of friends your boundaries. If they are good friends, they won't engage with her. Your cousin is doing it on purpose. How do I politely tell my coworker I don't give a shit about his conservative viewpoint? Hi, so I've been dwelling on this for a while and I'm about to snap if I don't figure this out. So my coworker is a friendly and nice old man, but his political views are the complete opposite of mine. To make things worse is he always brings them up, for no reason. He listens to a conservative radio all day in his machine shop, which I have been working in alongside him, so I also hear it, and constantly goes on about how hypocritical the left and Democrats are, whilst blindly ignoring his own side's faults. I have been playing along with him for months, simply nodding my head and saying yup, when he goes on his little spouts. Recently it has gotten worse, especially since the election, and he has been saying basically everything you can imagine the average boomer Trump supporter COVID would say, aka being a massive hypocrite himself. He constantly repeats himself. I don't know how many times I've heard him try to explain that masks don't work because they only stop 0.5 micron viruses, but COVID is 0.05 microns, so it can get through. He believes in herd immunity, and I quickly snapped at him today with Sweden tried herd immunity and it hasn't worked, and he kinda just brushed it aside and continued on. I don't mean this to get into a rant about my coworker, he's a nice dude, and I enjoy talking with him about anything that isn't politics. So, how do I politely tell him I disagree with basically all of his political views and I never want to speak about politics with him, ever again? Ever. Thanks. Edit, removed devil's advocate. Edit 2, thanks for all the advice folks, I'm sure I'll update this again once I finally tell coworker my thoughts. Ask if you can change the radio station. Switch to music. Christmas music is the fad of the month, I hear. That removes a lot of the nonsense from your day-to-day experience. I have thankfully remedied the radio situation by getting wireless headphones and listening to music/books when in the shop. Thankfully my workplace is quite lenient with phone usage. You're in a machine shop and the advice in this thread is for someone working in an office. My advice is to start with platitudes, yay whatever, it is what it is. If he doesn't take the hint you eventually drop a seriously though I don't give a shit, let's get some work done. You can't ask him to stop talking about politics because in his mind he's not talking about politics, he's talking about life. A good tactic I've used to find middle ground and shut them up is to just say all politicians are corrupt, businesses lobby both sides, I don't believe any of them. Just out conspiracy these idiots and they like it since you didn't say you don't agree with them, you just don't agree with anyone. If they try to persuade you just say I've seen a lot of corruption, it's all about the money, they don't care about us. Literally works every time. All the advice here is good, so I just want to mention that you're not being a devil's advocate by nodding your head and agreeing with him. Wait, have I been using the term devil's advocate wrong this whole time? Can we please avoid talking politics at work? Thanks. Hey, do you remember I asked you not to speak politics? Thank you. I really need a break from hearing about politics, etc., etc. Firstly, just tell him to stop talking about politics. Every time he brings it up just say I don't want to talk about politics and don't engage. Secondly, he believes in herd immunity. Sorry but this will be a rant as I'm sick and tired of people saying herd immunity is bad without actually understanding what it is. Herd immunity is an effect, it is not a process. Herd immunity means that /95% of the population is immune to X, which stops the /5% of the population who cannot be immunized, age, health, immunocompromised, etc., from getting X and potentially dying. Herd immunity is what allowed us to wipe out smallpox, which is why we no longer need a smallpox vaccine. Herd immunity failing due to the decrease in MMR vaccination rate is why measles is starting to come back as a serious illness and is killing more and more people. Herd immunity is what we want with COVID. The method of obtaining herd immunity is where the controversy lies. Obtaining it by just getting everyone infected is moronic. It'll overload hospitals and cause an untold amount of more death and suffering. Obtaining herd immunity via mass vaccinations will not cause this harm.